This is Deuteronomy chapter 13. Moses is waxing eloquent as he gives Israel the following warnings about worshiping other gods. Verse 1, if a prophet or a dreamer of dreams arises among you, and he gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder comes to pass of which he spoke to you, saying, let's go after other gods which you have not known, and let's serve them, you shall not listen to the words of that prophet or to that dreamer of dreams, for Yahweh your God is testing you to know whether you love Yahweh your God with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall walk after Yahweh your God, fear him, keep his commandments, and obey his voice, and you shall serve him and cling to him. That prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death because he has spoken rebellion against Yahweh your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to draw you aside out of the way which Yahweh your God commanded you to walk in, so you shall remove the evil from among you. Comment. In verse 3, Moses warned Israel that Yahweh might test them. If a false prophet or dreamer comes along saying, let's go after other gods, and that false prophet or dreamer backs up what he's saying with a sign or a wonder, Moses says, stone him because he has spoken rebellion. Jesus didn't say if, he said it definitely would happen. Quote, false Christs and false prophets will arise and will show great signs and wonders so as to mislead, if possible, even the elect, Matthew 24:24. So we might see signs and wonders from fortune tellers, the occult, witches, the New Age, and other religions. But as Paul said, quote, even if we or an angel from heaven should preach to you a gospel contrary to what we have preached to you, he is to be accursed, Galatians 1:8. Revelation 13:2, Satan has great power and authority. He'll give it to the Antichrist during the Great Tribulation so that he may work wonders and deceive the inhabitants of the earth, Revelation 13:3. It's going to be very convincing. Everyone who dwells on the earth whose name is not written in the Lamb's book of life will be deceived, Revelation 13:8. Verse 6, if your brother, the son of your mother, or your son or your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend who is as your own soul, entices you secretly, saying, let's go after other gods, which you have not known, you nor your fathers, of the gods of the peoples who are around you, near to you, or far off from you, from the one end of the earth even to the other end of the earth. You shall not consent to him, nor listen to him, neither shall your eye pity him, neither shall you spare, neither shall you conceal him, but you shall surely kill him. Your hand shall be first on him to put him to death, and afterwards the hands of all the people. You shall stone him to death with stones, because he has sought to draw you away from Yahweh your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. All Israel shall hear and fear, and shall not do any more wickedness like this among you. Comment. Verse 6, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be one of our own family preaching another gospel, saying, let's go and serve other gods. He or she might be talking about a god worship nearby or on the other side of the earth. It doesn't matter. In the modern day, that person more than likely wouldn't straight up preach a foreign god, but rather present some academic or occultic belief that's contrary to the gospel of Christ. The New Testament teaching is not that we should stone him or her, rather he's to be accursed. Quote, if any man is preaching to you a gospel contrary to what you received, he is to be accursed, Galatians 1:9. But you and I are not the ones to curse him. If he or she's to be accursed, that's God's job. We should pray that he'll receive mercy because he probably doesn't know what he's doing. However, we Christians shouldn't associate with so-called brothers who are idolaters or immoral in any way. Such persons should be removed from the church, 1 Corinthians 5, verses 11 through 13. But by the way, no one should be removed from the church without the chance for repentance, according to Matthew chapter 18, verses 15 through 17, which we won't get into right now. Verse 12, if you shall hear about one of your cities, which Yahweh your God gives you to dwell there, that certain wicked fellows have gone out from among you, and have drawn away the inhabitants of their city, saying, let's go and serve other gods, which you have not known, then you shall inquire and make search and ask diligently. Behold, if it is true, and the thing certain, that such an abomination was done among you, you shall surely strike the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, destroying it utterly, with all that is therein, and its livestock with the edge of the sword. You shall gather all its plunder into the middle of the street, and shall burn with fire the city and all of its plunder to Yahweh your God. It shall be a heap forever. It shall not be built again. Comment: in Moses' theoretical example from verses 12 through 16, certain wicked fellows were able to successfully draw away the inhabitants of their city to worship other gods. Moses says, strike the city with the sword and destroy it, everyone, even the livestock, and don't take any plunder. Pile it all in the street and burn it. Then tear the city down until it's a heap and don't ever rebuild it. The Old Testament shorthand for this process is to devote the city to destruction. Verse 17, nothing of the devoted thing shall cling to your hand, that Yahweh may turn from the fierceness of his anger and show you mercy and have compassion on you, and multiply you as he has sworn to your fathers, when you listen to Yahweh your God's voice, to keep all his commandments which I command you today, to do that which is right in Yahweh your God's eyes. Comment: that's the chapter. See it for Deuteronomy 14 at landofhavilah.net. Deuteronomy 14.